Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How is everyone? And you'll have to let me know in the chat if I'm clear and not choppy, because I am further away from the Wi-Fi than normal.
You're sounding good to me. Now,
I know, but on StreamYard, it's always much better than what it is.
that's true.
So,
Very good point. Mr. Agenda, can you watch our chat show and let us know if we're having any issues with streaming?
Absolutely. I was just getting to it.
Thank you.
so I haven't gotten our notification yet, so
Oh,
tis coming.
I just got to know.
Michelle's
Yes,
here.
Michelle saw my post on Instagram.
Colleen is here.
Colleen, hello. How are you all this evening?
We're doing good. You need to make that a mute. Okay.
Yes, I decided that I had to stream from my chair today.
I know, and I love it. I love you streaming from your chair. I think it should be a broken.
Joyce.
Hi, Joyce. I think.
And Twist is here.
Oh, Twist. Susan, everybody's here. I think that the chair should be the Brocante and Bergamot location.
I also kind of want to do I have a couple 1910 era books and magazines, and I want to sit here and read from them.
That sounds lovely.
It's just a little ephemera read. I would do it for candlelight, but my eyes are terrible.
Oh gosh, yeah. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know, Colleen. It's so good. Here, we'll tip it up so you can see the top.
Yes, look at this chair.
I'll lean back in it.
I'm so jealous. Heather Elizabeth is entirely green with envy over this chair.
I mean, I was bereft when I saw the sold sign on this chair in August. So
I remember, vividly, because I'm like, that chair is fantastic.
I know. Never see another one. If I do, I'll buy it for you. Joyce, what's wrong? Are you sick? Oh, are you
green with envy? Yeah, she is. Maybe is she too? Oh, don't you want this chair, Joyce? She's moving her craft room around. She's adding a new desk.
Ooh.
So,
extra space.
I'm sure she can make room for a beautiful upholstered balloon chair.
Mm-hmm. A French canopy chair. You could do it. And it's actually really well upholstered. So I always called this part of my bedroom my cozy corner. I had a vintage chair that looked like a heart, but it was not well stuffed. It needed some major rebuild. And so I couldn't sit on it for more than 5 minutes without my behind going numb. So I didn't use it that often. But now I've already sat in this chair every day since I got it. I only got it yesterday. So that was pretty easy. So
it still works.
And then I'm using my new Martinsville for my beverage this evening.
I'm having some chai tea and some old biscottis, which I'll try not to eat. I was eating them before we went live, and then I'm just crunching away. Wait, I should stop.
If I bring a snack, I always take a bite 2 seconds before we go live, and then and then I'm out of luck. There, let me see how it comes in.
Just in case channels?
Oh, channels that use just in case for their auctions.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mr. Agenda, he was just like, oh, Twist is so disappointed about missing out on those Valentines. I felt so bad. I will say I had a really hard time following the chat.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I wasn't as, it was just a lot for me going on. I had a hard time catching. I didn't even see that Leanne had popped in. Scott had to tell me. So I was missing a lot.
I
love
want
this
to put
Scott.
my tiara on while I sit here.
Ooh. Go
Maybe
get
next time.
it. If I had a tiara, I'd wear one with you. But I do not.
I need one that has like the combs so it's easier to put on.
Mhm.
This one I have like requires either you to bobby pin it in or it's got like a ribbon. I use a ribbon on it, but it requires too much preparation. I need an easily applied tiara.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Twist. If I come across some cutie patootie Valentines at a good price, I will pick them up and give you first crack at them. I'll just send you a picture and say, "Do you want these?"
Yeah, I don't have traditional Valentines. I have a lot of Valentine's postcards,
Mm-hmm.
but
yeah, I don't really display with Valentines. I think they're adorable, but
hey, Sarah Lee,
I pick them up to pass them on. So I have a few Victorian ones, but not a lot.
are you having tea this evening?
I am. I'm having chai tea.
You're having tea.
I'm having tea.
I'm having Earl Grey gin and tonic. So it's a G&T.
A G&T.
Actually, G&T tea.
That sounds lovely.
We're both having TT.
Your tea. Cheers to you and to me for our tea.
Chin. Has everyone had a good Monday? I mean, I had an amazing weekend. If I just start petting the chair, just ignore me. Okay.
I had a really
Okay,
bad
why
headache
don't you-
Saturday.
You had a what?
Bad headache. I was pretty much out of
Oh, no.
commission all Saturday until Saturday evening. And then I was actually able to watch some sales and chats and stuff. And then yesterday I was researching and doing a lot of copying and pasting photos. And it takes me all day long. All day.
It does. I actually planned ahead for my slides this week because like whenever I was, searching through things and there was something that would fit like one of our segments, I would screenshot it or like save it to an email. And then all I had to do was just plug them in and it was so much easier. Will I do that next week when I have more to do? No, I won't. I'll try.
But it's nice. It's so nice when you do get to
When I do get to do it, yeah. So.
It is really, really nice. So yeah, I should do the same thing to try to, not have to crunch.
Shoulda.
You just do what you can.
And the allergies are bad.
Allergies?
Yeah, Joyce is having allergy issues.
Oh, I've been sleeping like crapola. I slept a little bit better last night, but still, that's another thing that sucks.
I sleep great.
Functioning on minimum sleep is so.
You can never recharge fully.
No, you just don't. You can't give your 100% to anything, a thought, an action, anything.
Right.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. Mary had a fun sale earlier. I had to listen to most. So.
I can't even see myself.
No?
Having issues with the lights, I think. But if I wear my readers, I can't see either. Like I have to be this close to use these. So I'm just screwed.
I met Glowy Girl on Whatnot before I met her anywhere else, I think.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I am in my chair. I am in my chair. Y'all, if you mention the chair, I'm gonna do things. Just so you know.
Susan, how are doing? I don't get to see you as much in the chats and stuff of the sales. So
Yeah.
how is my old so-and-so
So-and-so.
Susan doing?
Are you still in Florida, Susan? Or did you?
She does go back and forth a lot.
Mhm.
Everyone's saying, your chair, your chair.
I am both in and on my chair.
Both in and on.
All of the prepositions.
That's good. I'm glad you're doing awesome. Okay. I know. It does belong in a
It's
castle.
found in a chateau. And it is.
Perfect.
It's in my castle. It's in the Bower.
It is in the Bower. It is at home.
It is. It is where it belongs.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, shall we begin?
Sure. Let's go ahead and pop up.
So
Boom.
my collections are inspired by my visit to the WVU Art Museum this weekend. One of their collections, their upstairs collection, which is in the larger gallery, is it's called In Concert, the Violin and Photographs.
Oh.
And so it's over 250 photos of all kinds, from daguerreotypes to sepia types to modern photography. They even have like some videos playing of the violin, like in Star Trek and the Muppets and the things like that.
Mhm.
But it all came from one person's collection. So what I took away from this was you should focus your ephemera, which is what I do. Like I try to keep my ephemera around 1910, which is the year my house was built. But I also kind of now want to find all the antique photos with cats in them. You'll see why on the next slide. But so every single photo in this gallery exhibit, over 250, contains someone holding a violin.
That's fun.
Displaying a violin. And it runs the gamut of different things. And so these were just some that like caught my eye and I snapped a picture of. I thought you would like the lady sitting in the moon.
I do. Of course I do.
And it says, when the moon plays peekaboo,
Cute.
written underneath there. And then there was a guy playing violin on a unicycle.
That's the kind of
I know.
image. It doesn't matter what I'd be collecting. If I were to see that between the top hat and the unicycle, I would be like, I have to get this.
I need it. And then there's a little kid drinking.
I just looked at the cat.
I know, right? That's why I was like, okay, I need more pictures of cats doing things in photographs.
Yeah. I have one. I wanted to start collecting photographs of children with dolls or antique teddy bears, but it's a really popular subject and they're expensive. So if you do find one, sometimes the prices are $80, $90, and that's not what I want to do. So I have one photograph postcard of a child with a bear, and that's all I have.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, if someone were to find,
what you would have to do is like be buying auction lots and then going through them and then moving on what you don't want.
Yeah.
Or make friends with somebody who does that. Like that's what you would have to do. But I really love the idea that somebody, I don't know how much time, I would assume they were violinists themselves, in order to have this kind of, and I used to play violin, so I, really, it spoke to me. So the thing to take away from this is like, if you have a collection, you can collect it all. Absolutely. But I really like the idea of there being a theme or something that ties through all your pieces.
Yes. That's why I thought that starting my women in Victorian mourning clothing was a good focused category, but it still is proving a little more difficult than I thought. But I figured that there's going to be a lot of women in black that you could, but it's really hard. A lot of the women in black, they've got the white collar and it's probably not really black. It just looks kind of black because it's a black and white photograph.
Right.
So to find all black, it's hard.
Yeah, it's harder. Yeah, that little boy, he's got swag. That's all.
It's incredible. And all the props on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to know the story behind that photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the cat, because the cat. Hey, Julie. Your collection is next.
Well, my collection is much more boring than what you just showed.
Not boring. It's just different.
Different. I just like these. I chose vintage religious medals, and I do pick up ones that look like these when I find them. And it's just something I like because it's another thing that's small. It's decorative. And I think a part of it appeals to me because like my grandmother was very Catholic religious. I went to Catholic school. I am not a practicing religious person, but the iconography of the Catholic religion, I like it. It's part of like how I grew up. So there's something about it that I really enjoy just visually.
Yeah, I mean, I like them, but like for me, the thing I love is Russian icons, which are extremely hard to find true ones.
I love those too.
Reasons.
The Russian icon, yes.
I mean, my family's not Russian Orthodox, but I studied that area of the world intensively,
right.
So that's what speaks to me. And I mean, I love the colors of it and the gold and the. So, we all have reasons for various collections. They don't have to be the obvious reasons either.
Yeah.
We titillating tables campus. I actually have two tonight, but I have two pictures of the same one because this person reused, she bought a bunch of like Mercury style candlesticks for her wedding. And so to light up each individual table. So she has all these. She's like, I didn't want to get rid of them. We had so much fun sourcing them and so much fun finding them. So this is a relatively simple table. It's hard to tell, but the water goblets are pink, and they match the just simple pink roses that are there. But I really want to have a candlelight dinner party because just look at how it changes it when they're lit.
Candles.
I know.
The wonder of candles.
I love candles. Light makes such a difference.
Yes.
And candlelight, I mean, I might be using fake candles because I'm terrified of fire, but it's a similar thing. The new electric candles are way better than the 80s ones. So there is my first table.
Ooh, we have more.
Mine is going to be after yours. Oh, you got some gold.
Isn't this just pretty?
I need one of those sitting right here.
Yes. I thought this definitely would work so well for another romantic Valentine table for two or a whole, party. But the cranberry colors with the amethyst color, and of course the glassware is beautiful. So all together, it's fabulous. I love this.
And again, we've got fruit and flowers in the center
fruit?
of the table.
Yes. We got some
fan
fruit.
of that.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, I love the gold details on all of these goblets and champagne flutes.
Look at the base of that amethyst goblet. Like there's that, I can't see what it is, but there's something there before the final part of the stem. Do you see it?
I see something. The little bulb?
Yeah.
I don't know what I know. I'm assuming it's just a decorative base.
You don't usually see them down at the bottom.
You don't.
Not with a stem that thin. But Lovely. Lovely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We love setting the mood.
My second table is blue and white.
Blue and white.
Because what caught my eye is it has, I happened upon a set of 4 of these cut to clear crystal goblets. These are all in blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved it. I love the blue and white. My birthday party might have to be a blue and white party. I'm just saying, I'm planning ahead.
Yeah. I like
and
the cut to clear blue with the chinoiserie plates.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then, then there's tea. And then at the bottom of this tea cart, you'll see I have, there's a sugar scuttle there. They have Andes mints in it. And
Oh.
I have a sugar scuttle. Mine is a silver plate. But I put caramel Hershey Kisses in mine.
Ooh.
And my niece, well, I don't have any in it currently because they're kind of seasonal. They're hard to find normally. And my niece, when I lived at my parents' house and I was working from home during the pandemic, I would have it full of my caramel Hershey Kisses, and it has the little tiny scoop because it was originally for sugar for like hotel services. And so she would walk back when she was with my mom, and she's like, "Me have?" so I would pick her up. She would get the little scoop, and it would only pick up one, and then she would put it in her hand, and then hang the scoop back up. I like turning random things into a
experience.
Yeah, an experience because the little things make life better.
They do.
Yeah, and Twist was saying the bamboo. I love the bamboo utensils, and then instead of a charger, they have one of those like lettuce plates.
Cabbage plate.
So, and then the very faint stripe of green on the table sets off the greenery and the arrangement, and I just loved it. So, I wanted to share.
I'm glad you did. I really
and I'm pretty sure I have that coffee pot that looks like my coffee pot that I have in the Blue Willow.
Blue Willow. Awesome. Okay, so I chose a YouTube channel for my media must. And this is Amanda's Mercantile. This is a young lady. I believe she's probably in her late 20s. And she's very industrious. She is a reseller. She has a booth. And I think I found Amanda because she also does DIYs and things like that. She'll flip furniture. So she'll buy old furniture and try to restore it. I think I found her from one of her wood restoring videos, but she has some really great booth videos. She does do shopping videos. And if you want to try her out, I recommend going to, you can see 7 months ago. So it's titled Luckett's, and Luckett's is like a big flea market that she will go and be a part of. And she has a big space there to sell her furniture and things like that. And I really enjoyed it. It's the kind of thing that it's like, I like to go to places like this. And it was very interesting to see her go through her day. The video before this one, the setup video, is just completely exhausting. It makes you wonder how she even made it through the weekend.
As someone who sets up regularly for festivals and stuff, it's a lot.
Yeah. And her booth was big. She had like a double space. It was tons of furniture.
I'm gonna have to follow her because I haven't heard of her before.
She's good. She has a great personality, and her videos tend to vary. So some of them are a little bit vloggy and kind of just whatever, and other ones I enjoy a little bit more. So you just kind of have to, give her a little chance. There might be one video where you're like, I don't like this at all, and then skip it. And she takes
like a variety.
And when she goes antique shopping, she's always looking for like inspiration, like we do, and, looking to see, if she can find something to put in her booth for resale. But it's fun. I have enjoyed watching her as the year has progressed.
My medium must is very different.
Oh, Joyce watches her. She just said she can be all over, laugh out loud. I agree.
I am bringing you 2 Instagrammers that bring me untold amounts of joy.
Is this needle felting? What is this?
So this one is crochet knit. So she knits tiny creatures.
Joyce.
And you'll see she has frogs and toads as the Hocus Pocus ladies.
Oh my God, they're adorable.
And then, but she mainly has, I thought you would like this voice. Hi, Amy. So, on the right is a still from one of her little videos. So she takes these knitted creatures and then she makes little stop motion videos with them.
She does stop motion with them?
Yes. And this is a still where it's Froggy's slow morning routine. So like it's him waking up, he gets in a clawfoot tub for a bubble bath, and then he's having a tiny croissant with tea and a thimble. I mean, what's not to love?
It sounds awesome.
It is adorable. And look, he's sitting on a spool of thread. It's so cute. It's so it kills me. It's so cute.
Yes. Yes.
And then I found her, and then Instagram was like, well, if you love India Rose Crawford, and she's working on setting up a YouTube channel. So pay attention. Oh, you follow her, Amy? Then Instagram was like, if you love Frog and Toad, you need the moth, because this is a needle felted creature. She makes all kinds of needle felted creatures. This is Chloe Bensinger. And this still is from when Moth goes outside in the snow, makes a little snow moth, and then Moth has ghosty friends, and they went sled riding, and then Ghosty tended the fire, and then he's making hot cocoa right now.
My mind is exploding.
It's so
what?
Cute.
What?
It is so cute. You can go and you can just spend your day in a tiny little adorable world.
I want to go do that.
They have made my life better. So
that is incredible. Oh my gosh.
I wanted to share.
You know how Rachel Maxey did the needle felting? Did you see her?
Well,
did you see her video where she made the mouse?
Yes. And I'm pretty sure that's why Instagram showed me this, because I was, freaking out about her little mouse night.
Nice. Oh, so cute.
And I've done needle felting before, and now I want to needle felt more.
I know. I left a comment. I'm like, I just might have to try this year.
I mean,
it's incredible.
I might have the materials.
You need those little leather finger protectors, though. That's what I'm like. I need to get some finger protectors.
Well, I have anti-cut gloves, which would work as well.
That would work.
But yeah, it is so cute. The frog and toad lady, she also turned them into vampires for Halloween, and it's just so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute.
The photo of this moth out here in the little berry thorn bush is incredible.
One of my favorites is the moth invites you to Thanksgiving. He walks up, he gives you a tiny little envelope, and then he sets the table and he has a name card that says you on it. And I've done needle felting before, Amy, but just very simple things. So yeah, and Moth has a whole miniature house. So if you like miniatures, this is also probably why I love it. Tiny things, are my
tiny things. Yes.
My first love. So I just wanted to share that joy with you all.
Thank you for sharing. Everyone is now going to leave our chat and go watch the
Don't watch it yet.
Don't go yet. Don't leave.
Watch it after. It'll put you to sleep. Like, soothing music. It's
Oh,
it's just a whole lot of happy happening. So
sounds amazing. Oh my gosh.
moving on.
Okay.
Well, all of your interiors are together, just so you know.
Okay. Yes. So for my inspiring interiors, I chose this house. It's called the Red House, and the reason why is because there was like so much to kind of unpack in
Thank you,
researching.
Dr. Thistletea. I shall.
Oh yes,
I'm going to take a picture of your comment.
yes. She recommended Hopalong Hollow to me as well. Because there was so much to unpack, I decided, well, why don't I share the Red House as my inspiring interiors instead of throwing too much at you guys for the highlight.
I love the outside. Like, it's
yes. So this was a house that William Morris had built. He hired the architect Philip Webb to build it right after he got married. And it's all in the style of like the medieval revival. The whole medieval period was very, very appealing to William Morris. And so this house, the Red House, really is like the beginnings, like the very early beginnings of the arts and crafts movement, which really William Morris is considered to be like the father of in Britain. So the whole arts and crafts movement was a response to kind of the overcrowded maximalism stuffing
the
it
Industrial Revolution. Yeah.
well, that too, but of Victorian. So so
The stuffiness.
he and what's funny is I was watching a video that was explaining like, well, William Morris, he grew up in a fairly well-to-do home that had a lot of those extra breakable items all over the house. And he was a fairly roly-poly, clumsy child. So I don't think he has fond memories of having to navigate that kind of a fancier, full of breakable items house.
He probably got in a lot of trouble, I'm guessing.
Yes. But here, I will go ahead and skip over to the next one.
Maybe his mom was the kind of person, like, if she was in the 80s, everything would have plastic on it.
Yeah. Yes, but the Red House really
look at that bolt.
Yeah, it really exemplifies how he wanted to. He really romanticized the way of life back in the 15th century, in the medieval era. He loved the architecture. He loved the entire like social structure of how they did things, and he definitely did not like what he was seeing with, as you mentioned, the industrialization that was happening at the same time, where the rich was getting richer and he was seeing the poorer classes getting poorer and poorer.
Mm-hmm. And the mechanization of so many things. So like arts and crafts were being replaced. And so therefore, the art of things is disappearing.
The really cool thing about this house is not only did he design it with Philip Webb, and he had a lot of inspiration from Gothic styles, but all of the designs were done by him and his friends. So like this stained glass, William Morris painted this himself, and this is where he really started to learn the skills that developed into his company. And it's also the location of where the company was born. So here you can see some of the pieces of furniture, because he also was very involved in the idea of function and beauty. So he wanted things to have a purpose, but also be very beautiful. And he loved putting in these cabinets that were beautiful, but yes, had a lot of compartments, a lot of storage.
Plus a bench.
And the bench. And he was as a bench. Like he loved multi-purpose functional type furniture that also was very, very decorative and harkened back to his love of medieval. Like he loved medieval illuminated manuscripts.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the colors. Now, when you said that he loved the Middle Ages, I was like, all of his colors make sense to me now because they're all like taken directly. Like Book of Kells is what comes to mind for me.
Yes. Yeah, and so it's cool. And you see the start here of how he loved wall coverings, and he liked that older, like with castles, how they'd use the tapestries to keep out the cold. He liked putting his wall coverings as well on the walls.
Also, mine, we're taking a break from William Morris for just a second.
Taking a break. Quick pause.
I follow this person. I got on Instagram. It's our 1897 vintage farmhouse. And this is all just one bedroom. And with Valentine's Day coming up, and I just love this. And it's funny because you mentioned to me how you'd never realize how shabby chic and Victorian like share the same brain kind of. And this kind of epitomizes that for me because there's a whole lot of Victorian elements in here.
Yes.
But I mean, you could easily call this shabby chic because they are so they share so many of the same aesthetic. And I just love this. And now
pretty.
I want to put, I have a trunk at the foot of my bed. I want to put flowers on it, except my cats would eat them. But because I just got those lusters and I was like, ooh. But I thought you would appreciate the needlepoint pillow there.
I love the needlepoint pillow.
It's nice and long. It's a big piece.
Wonderful.
There's lots of time in that piece.
It's gorgeous.
So, just something to look at and appreciate.
So appreciative.
Flowers, soft pink, and crystals.
All the crystals. I want all the crystals.
Give me all the crystals. I need to put crystals on my chair. I need a tiny chandelier to hang right here.
Yeah. That could be cool.
That would be utterly ridiculous. And then I'd have to...
In the chair or over the chair?
In the chair.
Oh, no.
Look it.
I thought you meant over the chair.
My candlesticks are very similar. Like, see how much headroom there is here? If I had a tiny little chandelier.
You guys, look at how this chair dwarfs her. She looks like she's 5.
Anyway, that's all. I am not going to put a chandelier in this chair because then I'd have to put a hole in it, and I won't do that. So,
yeah, she just got some of these.
I just got some. They're in my living room on my coffee table.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to go back to William Morris.
Oh, all right. After that lovely romantic intermission.
Yes, and a romantic interlude. Here we are.
Okay, so of course, I'm not going to go over everything regarding William Morris. If you guys know a lot about him, you might be saying, I might skip some things. And that's just because I don't want this to go for an hour. I want it to be a highlight. So we're going to look mostly at like the design section. He was also a writer and a publisher and an activist and all sorts of other things. But we're mostly going to concentrate on his art and design and how it kind of came about. So I have a little quote here. If I were asked to say what is at once the most important production of art and the thing most to be longed for, I should answer a beautiful house. And that really does reflect on what was extremely important to him once he started entering into art and his company. So just a little bit of background. There's there's William Morris there on the right with his crazy hair. He went to college at Oxford as a divinity student. So he originally wanted to be a clergyman. He was at the time very involved in or romanticizing the medieval life, and he wanted to use a lot of those ideals toward like having a monastery and things like that. And that's where he met Edward Burne-Jones. And Edward Burne-Jones ended up becoming a painter, but both of them started out as divinity students. But they're highly romantic. So they would go to the library and look at the illuminated manuscripts and read all of the old ways and the old ideas. And they thought it was just a better way of life. They really romanticized that time period and really thought it was like a better model of living in general, as opposed to like the antithesis of the industrialized England that they were seeing happening around them. So in 1956, the two college boys decide they're going to go on a tour of northern France to look at all the Gothic architecture that they love. And the Gothic revival in architecture was happening all through this time as well. And so they're like, yeah, let's go do this. And so during that time, I'm not sure if they met him or just saw his works, but the works of Dante Gabriele Rossetti. And they were very moved. Rossetti had like a whole different way of painting. He was painting smaller portraits that had a lot more color and also kind of reminded them of that kind of medieval influence. And so between their road trip and, all of this art and the art of Rossetti that were influencing them, they decide they don't want to be clergymen anymore. They leave Oxford. Morris ends up with a pass. So in all the videos, they say he graduated Oxford, but I guess he just left with a pass. And Burne-Jones just left with like 2 semesters left to go or something like that. But they decide we are going to become artists.
Good on him for, giving himself a fallback, Not that he needed it.
Yeah. So they say they're going to become artists, and they become friends with Rossetti. And they decide this is where, they're going to dedicate their lives to art. So here on the right, I'm just going to quickly touch on this painting, which is a painting of Beatrice. They're by Rossetti. Rossetti did a lot of paintings of Beatrice, but also the model for this painting is Jane Burden, and Jane Burden ended up being the wife of William Morris. So there is a triangle here where for most of their marriage, Jane Morris and Rossetti were lovers. Yeah. But a lot of Rossetti's paintings feature Jane Morris as Beatrice or another person. So she was
a saint?
Beatrice from Dante's works.
Oh,
okay. Like Dante Alighieri, the whole Paradiso and
yes.
Excuse me, sorry. So, and again, really quick, she also was very different looking. Like the female ideal in Victorian era was kind of like sweet, petite, pretty, smiling, just very pleasant. And Jane Burden and then Jane Morris, she was very, very different. She was like dark, moody, long neck, long dark hair, dark eyes, very I just want to say like for the men, they just thought she was this like dark goddess.
She had the mystique.
She had the mystique. Exactly. So, but somehow William Morris gets Jane Burden to marry him. And in 1859, they decide that William Morris is going to build this house with Philip Webb. And that's when Red House gets built, and it gets decorated by Morris, Rossetti, Ned, Burns-Jones. So Edward Burns-Jones, William Morris called him Ned, and Ned called William Morris Topsy. So, and because of his hair. So it was Ned and Topsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ned and Topsy. They all worked together in like designing and painting. So like Burns-Jones, he ended up becoming a painter as well, studying with Rossetti. And it's like there's murals in there.
He joined the chair.
Yeah. There's murals in there that they've done. There's those stained glass windows I showed you. So just this house was really where the arts and crafts movement really was kind of born. It was a very early example of what exploded. And this is where Morris and his friends decided that, hey, I think we should do this as a business and make a company, based on the ideas of craftsmanship, doing things the old way, doing all of the wallpapers and paintings and things of the old medieval way. They loved the murals. They loved the tapestries. They loved all of
handcrafted. Yeah.
The handcrafted ideal. And so they decided to make a firm, which when they started was called Morse, Marshall, Faulkner and Company. And there were all of these people that were part of it, but eventually it just became Morse and Company. And they used to just call it the firm.
Alderburgh in the UK.
What was?
The Red House.
Oh.
Wait, no. Bexley Heath.
Yes, that's right.
It's somewhere, I'll find out where. Southeast London.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course they called it the Red House because of the bricks. And they went, yeah, because it's red. And the bricks was at this time when everyone was building the Victorian homes, stucco was really popular. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to be different. They were like, I want all brick.
Well, and they were probably handcrafted bricks.
Probably.
Which is a whole thing that we don't think
Masonry,
about.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just got to say, I love the tiny turret in the front. That is my favorite part.
Okay. So the whole arts and crafts movement was based on this idea of functionality, beauty, hand craftsmanship, artisanship, guilds, learning the old ways and that sort of thing. So I know a lot of us, when we think of William Morris, we always think of the prints. We think of the patterns, the wallpaper, and the fabrics. But the Morris Company did a lot of things. And one of them was furniture. And the cabinet is something that they made that was part of Red House. But later, a little bit further down the line, the Morris Company has the iconic Morris chair, which pretty much was the very first recliner. And it
looks comfy.
Yeah, the Morris chair, this is like a highly iconic, if you were at all interested in furniture design, you would know the Morris chair as being like a pivotal part of arts and crafts. And my slide has covered it, but I think this is the Sussex. The Sussex
chair line.
Yeah. Okay. The Sussex chairs, again, was another line. These are very, very valuable. These examples you can see in the Victoria and Albert Museum. So, you can find these to purchase, but they're going to be thousands of dollars. And to you and I, this may look like just a rush chair that you can get on Wayfair, but it's not. Anything that looks like this was pretty much influenced by the Sussex chair.
One, these are probably extremely well made. Hence why they still exist.
All right.
Real wood.
Yes. Okay. So the first thing I want to, after the furniture, I just want to talk about embroidery. So really quick, William Morris was highly influenced by John Ruskin, who was a writer. And John Ruskin also talked about some of these ideals of artisanship. And he wrote about mastering by hand the creation of any art form before mass producing designs for it. And so William Morris really took this to heart. So he would learn this, he would learn his whatever item of craft by hand first before starting to work like an assembly line with people. Mm-hmm. So here you can see him at the top, his embroidery of him starting to learn how to do this himself. And then eventually he would take his drawings and designs and have the women do the actual handiwork to produce his designs when they were making things for either the wealthier customers, or they also got a lot of jobs from the church. And a few royal families.
So tapestry.
Yes.
Only I could just happen upon a William Morris tapestry.
That's what we're going to get into next. Is he loved embroidery, but one of his favorites was tapestries. Tapestries really was his great love, more than wallpaper.
Well, I mean, it speaks to his medieval,
Yes, he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. And this right here, this is a photo of when in 1877, he set up a tapestry loom, and this acanthus and vine pattern that he designed, this was the first piece he ever worked on. And he had educated himself by reading a 14th century French tapestry manual. And it took him 516 hours to complete this piece.
In 30 minutes.
And 30 minutes. And he would joke about it because you can see it's a little wonky. Like
it's not straight.
It's not perfect. But this was his commitment.
I mean, for a first try.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Not that bad.
This was his commitment to really wanting to learn, instead of just designing it and saying, here, you guys go make this. He wanted to learn how to do it himself first, so that he could really have an appreciation and an understanding of the process, which would help him when he would choose his designs and how he would approach the manufacturing with his craftsman guild that he had.
Right. Well, I mean, if you think about anything, like I've done custom orders for people, as far as jewelry goes, right? Mm-hmm. They give you an idea, not knowing that certain things are impossible unless I'm a laser cutter, right? Mm-hmm. I am not a laser cutter. I'm a human being. Mm-hmm. So until somebody has an appreciation for what goes into a handicraft, mm-hmm. or has tried a handicraft, they don't always understand everything involved. And so yes. I appreciate his.
Yes, I do too. I didn't know any of this about William Morris until yesterday. Didn't know this till yesterday. And then what else is on here? Oh, I think just that he made it kind of faded on purpose. So he chose his color scheme kind of on purpose to give it that look of antiquity that he loved.
Yeah, it looks faded.
Yes. It's
which it could be now. I mean,
right.
the 80s.
Yes. And I put a fun fact down here because it did say that he was a poet. He did like to actually compose while he was at the loom. So he would kind of multitask and like talk and then write things down while he was working on the loom, practicing and doing designs.
Yeah. So okay. Something to occupy his head while his hands were busy.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So yeah, these are just a few.
One on the right.
I know, that woodpecker. Yes. So he loved tapestries. There are a lot of William Morris tapestries that you can find. All of Morris's designs are reproduced. So you can find reproduction tapestries of these and all his other designs all over the place, as well as the wallpaper and the fabric. And
if you wanted to do something with it, there are William Morris designs in the open access in the Smithsonian. Just say no.
Yes.
You want to put it on a tote bag, you can.
Yes. And a lot of the designs that he would do were influenced by the earlier centuries. So like the Tree of Life here on the top, he definitely was influenced there. I saw in a video that there was like a Jacobean era like tapestry of the Tree of Life. And so he would take that and then do his own play on it. But it really was, he really wanted to celebrate, the like medieval designs and styles and illuminated manuscript, that whole kind of decorative, flourishing look, as well as the idea of bringing beauty and nature into the home.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got a little like Roman influence there at the bottom even.
Yes, the minstrel. And what's funny is I have a pillow, reproduced pillow of the minstrel, and I didn't know it was William Morris.
You didn't know it was Morris?
Nope. I'm like, that's my pillow. I know. I didn't know. All right. Oh, and here's one I had to share this one because I just loved it.
I need that on a wall.
I know.
On a wall.
Exactly.
It would look great behind my chair.
I love it. I just love it.
Wow.
I know. Wow. It's just beautiful. Beautiful.
I just can't imagine the time involved because like I've done like bead looms before and those things are tiny and it's just actual weaving of a full-on tapestry.
Yeah. Yes. There's another tapestry has forest in the name, but it has a lion in that one. And that one's really, really pretty too. It's not as tall, but I definitely recommend, doing some research and looking at all of the William Morris designs, just because there's a lot of wonderful ones. If you at all like a romantic old world style in your home, you will love all of them.
I'd find a place for it, Michelle. Don't worry. I do have tapestries on my wall, but mine are like, I think they're Belgian tapestries, but of Venetian seats.
Yes, he actually would look at a lot of the Belgian books and stuff as well for inspiration. And he actually, I was going to mention this a little bit later, but he brings in Belgian artists to help him learn the old ways of dyeing, which we will get into here.
Yeah, and it said Flanders and French, right? Because Aubusson was known for tapestries and carpets. So
yeah, did you know William Morris also did carpets?
There we go.
He did it all, guys.
Yeah. He probably visited Aubusson.
So in 1881, he buys Merton Abbey, which was an old priory. It actually existed, I think, back in the 16th century. But it had several lives, and it was a textile mill at some time. So it kind of had this setup that was already going to work well with a lot of the like textile part of his company. And so it was a pretty large house. There were a couple buildings on the property, and it's right next to a river. So everything was like the perfect environment for his production. And Merton Abbey really was a place where he brought in a lot of people in craftsmanship, and a lot of people were learning wonderful trades. He really wanted to teach the lower classes a trade, and so he would have them come in. But he had like a special stained glass room because they produced a lot of stained glass, like in the churches and things like that. They did a lot of work for them. These huge looms, and so you can see this photograph of he had a custom loom built 35 feet high and 10 feet wide so that he could make some of his tapestry designs. And also at this location, there were, he refurbished the dyeing vats that were already there. And at the vats is where he would do all of the natural dye mixing and everything like that. And then here at the bottom, I think I mentioned, oh, so again, the whole idea of art as craft, and the idea was not to mass produce housewares of inferior quality, but produce art worthy of the passage of time. So he really looked at his products and his work as art, art for the home. And this is a young gentleman. He had like a whole little house for some young boys. That he had like a special woman who was, kind of mothered them while they were living there. But he really wanted to, because he was a socialist and he was a bit of an activist, he wanted his company to also provide opportunities for lower classes. And so he really took in a lot of these younger gentlemen so that they would have a trade growing when they grew up to take with them for the rest of their lives.
Which is kind of, turns probably what he grew up with on his head, because the arts were for people who were genteel, people who could, afford not to work. So,
yes.
I like him even more now.
Right. And his family for a long time, once he really was kind of an advocate where he would, he was anti the industrialization process that made, really wasn't helping the poorer classes. And he wanted to really like help lift up, and teach these poor groups skills that they could take with them. Yeah. His family was just like, you're with the wrong crowds. He kind of got ostracized for a long time until he had his daughters. So yeah, it's really cool, this photo, because you can see the tapestry. Excuse me. Sorry. I think I need some water. Called Pomona. But you can see half of it there that he's doing.
Yeah, he's starting to work on it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, sorry guys. Too much.
I said my glass is empty, or I'd offer something.
Thank you.
Let me just will it to Colorado.
Okay. So now we're going to talk and look at a little bit of what we most of the time think about when we think of William Morris. We think about the beautiful fabrics and wallpaper prints. And it's really amazing. He really wanted to bring the lost art of not only textile dyeing, but like block printing that were being forgotten. And so he brought in two Belgian craftsmen. He brought them in because he couldn't find anybody who knew how to, or had kind of the background for using all of the natural dyes. It was getting lost. And this book here on the right is an example of how he wanted to preserve.
I'm going to say something ridiculous. Pardon? William Morris was the true original hipster.
He really was. He was like the definition. He was like a Victorian hippie.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Hipster, they're all connected.
Yeah. So
I mean, I have friends who natural dye things, and that's why I'm like, I
was thinking the exact same thing when I was.
He would be in my group of friends.
Yeah, when I was learning about him yesterday, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like really, like, you're right, a hipster, or like I was thinking like more of like a bohemian hippie, but same idea of just trying to do,
like the people of my generation. They're like they want like true old butchers. They just don't want to go to
exactly
returning to
yes,
the knowledge, the craftsmanship,
right. And so it's really cool. This book is actually at the Huntington. I didn't get to see it when I went to the Huntington, but it's in their collection.
Oh,
and so what he did is he made a manual with all of the recipes that they created for their fabrics. And he saved it all so that the art and the knowledge wouldn't be lost. Like, it was so important to him that not just because he wanted the work that he was doing to be, natural and of this more like pure character of the idea of, we're going to be artisans and make this for the people to beautify their home, but he wanted to preserve it. And I think that's really, really cool that he took the care to really record all of the things that he was learning and doing in his processes.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you think about it, because he loved the medieval era, and those things weren't written down. They were passed down orally.
They were passed down
from master to apprentice.
Exactly.
Until suddenly it was lost.
Exactly. And that's what was already happening, which is why he had to go to Belgium, because he couldn't find anybody in England that had any of that knowledge. Yeah, it's amazing. And while we're looking at some of his designs now, Strawberry Thief, we're going to just look at right now. We're just going to look at some pretty pictures of some of his iconic designs. But after this video is over, in the description, there is a 3-minute video from the Victoria and Albert Museum that I want you guys to watch that just shows the process of how they block printed these.
Oh, block printing is fascinating.
It really gives you an appreciation for how he put his designs into, how he transferred the actual like artwork into the wallpaper, because you had to break down each of the individual colors and designs separately. So in the video, it shows like 15 different blocks with different colors that would get passed through. So you'd have to pass through one color and then the other one, let it dry in between to create a pattern like this pimpernel. Or the willow bow. Yes, and it's great because it's only 3 minutes, but it's really wonderful, and I hope you all
watch it.
Yes, I hope you all just take a little peek at it.
Oh,
beautiful! I mean, gorgeous. And as far as
I want to put this in my bathroom, the one on the left, like
yes. He loved, he loved all natural dyes. He did love a good natural palette, but he did also love, like, I didn't end up finding a good example. There's one with some blues.
And the bright reds, because of, those illuminated manuscripts, the reds really stands out.
Yes, but he didn't want the artificial blues. So he actually really mastered the recipes using indigo. And he did so much work himself that it's actually was very common that he would come home with blue hands because of all of the indigo dyeing he would do. And this daisy pattern is one of his early designs. I'm pretty sure that's in his next house. And trellis, this is another early one where he designed this with Philip Webb. So this was like a collaborative, but this is another like iconic wallpaper from William Morris Company. Oh, okay. I was going to say, where's the rest of it? You had to separate it.
Yeah, there's 2 parts.
Okay. So really quick, we're going to take a look at some photos of, it starts, what is it? I had to write it down because I didn't put it on the slide. Kelmscott House or Kelmscott Manor. There's 2 of them. This is Kelmscott Manor.
How's it spelled? Chelm?
Kelmscott. Kelmscott. Kelmscott Manor. So just to give you an idea of like how William Morris, a little bit later, because he moved into Kelmscott after the Red House, and you're going to see a lot more of the designs that we kind of familiarize ourselves when we think of William Morris into practice of seeing it on the upholstery, on the walls, on the floors. And And it just gives you an idea of like how he thought a home should be decorated. So you've got
It's in
just
West Oxfordshire, for those who need to know.
so in this picture, you can see not only do you have a tapestry, you've got
That's in the
drapery.
corner.
Yes, you've got drapery, you've got wallpaper there on the right, and you've got tiles because they
Oh.
also they did tiles too.
Oh yeah, the tiles. Oh, look at those peacocks.
Yeah, those are cool.
Oh, I need those in front of my faux fireplace.
Yeah.
If y'all see one, let me know, please. Okay. Oh, I love the tile.
Yes, this one
Because
I was trying to get the best
to me, with
pictures.
that shelf, that just like reminds me of like a Russian cottage with the pitch, the Russian
Mhm,
oven fireplace. So
mhm.
I love it.
Yes. So even though he didn't like a lot of tchotchkes, he really, loved his patterns and loved putting them all over the house.
Well, yeah. Well, when things are sparse, you can like go crazy with them. Oh,
Yes,
look at that banquet.
Yes. Now this is the only one that they said was, I think, originally in the red house. So this piece possibly, I think, could be hand painted, but I still wanted to show it because I think now it's in one of the Kelmscott, either there's a Kelmscott Manor and a Kelmscott house. So I think it's in one of those right now. But I still thought it was really, really cool. And you can see here at the bottom, more like wall coverings and tapestries in there. So it's kind of a museum. So I'm not sure how much of it was the same, but this definitely, I believe, was how it was when he was living there. And this room, I'm pretty sure the wallpaper in the bedroom here is that daisy pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the canopy and all that. This is all tapestry that he did. And on the bed is embroidered bed covering. And then you've got the carpet. So, I mean, this was his jam.
But it's not busy.
No, the colors and just his style seemed to work.
Well, it's because like the carpet, it's so almost monotone that it just reads as red. There is a pattern there, but it's not like, I mean, it's busy, but it's not like in your face.
Yes.
And so,
yeah, I really wanted to share this because a lot of us will see William Morris patterns. They're produced everywhere. You can find them everywhere.
I have a William Morris shirt from H&M.
Yes, H&M on clothing. You can find it everywhere. And some people will
And I knew nothing about William Morris when I bought it. I was just like, ooh, this looks like a tapestry.
Yeah. Some people will produce his designs in what I consider not a very William Morris color palette.
Yeah.
So if you do end up, in my opinion, now that I've learned about him, I don't think I would choose, the Pimpernel pattern in a magenta.
Yeah.
But I think you can kind of get it in a magenta if you wanted to, because people can take his designs and they can produce them in whatever color scheme they want.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show, like, this is kind of more of how
Creative Commons now. So,
hey, Patrick's here.
I waved.
So this is how he really wanted to beautify the home, was full dyes and color palettes. Because I was seeing some stuff online and I'm thinking, oh, William Morris would shudder if he saw this. There was a purple that the industrialized manufacturers were creating during the Victorian era that used coal tar or something, more synthetic. And that purple was like the bane of his existence. He hated that purple so badly. And then another thing, this is that really pretty willow bow pattern in both wallpaper and fabric.
I love it on the fabric but I love that coverlet tapestry. Like,
yes, the coverlet is actually very, very famous. The coverlet was drawn and designed by one of his daughters and then embroidered by his wife, Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, I did get a close-up of that because I was trying to just focus on the patterns.
Sorry.
But
I can
that's
look it
another
up.
cool. That's another cool thing. If you, that's like in the museum that is very highlighted. And then to close,
You're ending with a quote.
I'm ending with a quote. Can you believe it?
I love it. Because I didn't think of one for today.
So, quote: "Do not have anything in your home that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful."
See, Marie Kondo didn't come up with it. William Morris was the founder of Spark Joy.
Mhm.
There you go.
So there you have it. I did not touch a lot on some of his activism. I mean, he really did a lot of other things as well. So I definitely encourage you to do more research if this interests you.
Is there a documentary or anything about him?
There's a lot of different
Like there
documentaries.
should be.
I really had to plow through a lot of information to
Cigarettes.
kind of
What about
I
cigarettes?
was going to put together. Pardon?
Joyce says cigarettes.
Thanks, Joyce. All right. How do we remove? There we go. All right. So yes, and he was a publisher. Like in his later life, he had the Kelmscott Press where
I've heard of that.
he was producing books. He wrote, what was the book he wrote? I wrote it down somewhere. In 1870, he published Earthly Paradise.
That's Philip Morris, Joyce, you're thinking of for cigarettes.
Oh yeah, not separate Morris.
I don't think he would be a fan.
No.
I mean, he might have been a smoker, but I doubt he would have been a fan of the way Philip Morris operated.
Right. But
that seems the direct opposite of what he was about.
Yeah. But he really was known as a writer. The Earthly Paradise and his poetry, he was known for it in England at the time when he was still alive. And he also had the first idea of like preserving old buildings. Kind of before the National Trust, he came up with a foundation kind of to really promote the recognition and preservation of old.
Well, if you think like he used an existing mill to like turn into his headquarters, and like I don't know, was Kelmscott a manor before he got there, or was that one he built? Because we know he built the Red House.
No, he didn't build that. He built the Red House, yes.
Yeah, but not the other one. Mm-hmm. Because this was the late 1800s. Because it was around World War I when all like the great houses in the UK just started falling into disrepair, and
yes,
if only there had been more William Morrises, some would still be about.
Yeah,
that's why I bought an old house, not because of William Morris, but because like, why build something new when something perfectly awesome already exists?
Yeah,
that you can make better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, why I love vintage and antiques. It's already here. Don't gotta make
already
more.
Here. There's already so much awesome things on the planet.
How amazing!
Yes. Use your spending dollar to purchase things that are already here, and if you put less money into the stores that are making things, then you'll take that money away, and maybe they won't find the need to produce so many million plastic doodads.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Because I didn't know a lot of that about William Morris. I mean, I just knew. But the reason I like him now makes so much more sense. Because I mean, I adore tapestries, and the fact that he was influenced by
Yes.
medieval tapestries and medieval
Yes.
workmanship that now clicks in my brain.
Right.
So awesome.
I'm glad you liked it.
I brought my favorite thing to the entire
I know
episode
you did.
evening. So I can show you the whole thing if y'all missed it yesterday.
Yes, well, let's just share it because I don't need to share a favorite thing today. Let's look at your favorite thing.
Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Because this is new. This is a new acquirement.
It is a new acquirement. And for those who missed the story, so in August 6th to be exact, I visited a new to me antique mall, and in that antique mall I found this gorgeous chair. I fell in love with it. It had a sold sign on it. I was bereft. I was so sad. I was like, I will never see one of these chairs ever again. And I went back a month later because usually I, space my visits out to most antique malls around here because they don't change over all that much. And so I went back. The chair was still there. So I talked to the owner of the antique mall, and she's like, yeah, my friend bought it. She just doesn't have a place for it yet. I was like, well, here's my name and number. If for some reason it's not going to work for her, please let me know. Again, this was like September. I get a call on Friday that the chair will not fit in her house. I have first refusal. Do I want it? I said yes.
Yes, please.
I said yes. Yes, I do. I need it in my life. So it's this French canopy or balloon chair. It's fully upholstered all the way around. It was probably reupholstered in the 70s or something because the fabric is in fantastic condition. But can you see how big it is? It's like it's large. I added those cushions.
I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it, you guys.
It is 5.5 feet tall. So I had to beg my sister to come to put it in her car because it would not fit in mine. And so now it's mine. And so Malcolm, he was up here next to me for most of it, the Heather's talk. But it's just like it embraces you. Like you're sitting in here and like it like deadens everything because this is very cushy. Like
I'm so jealous.
Significant cushiness. Right, Julie? So now it's mine, and I'm so happy. I never thought I would be this.
I remember Angela showed me the photograph of this chair back in August, and we both were freaking out about how wonderful this chair was.
So cool.
And the fact that however many months later, it is now in your house.
6 months. Almost.
It just
exactly
6
months.
It never hurts to leave your name and number at an antique store to let people know what you like and what you want.
This might be the only thing I ever manifest, but it happened.
So I know. Excited. You really did. I think
my house too. I manifested my house. Well, that
everything
was
everything aligned for you,
it
and it happened.
And it fits in my corner just perfectly. My friend was like, "You're not putting it in your living room." I'm like, "No, it's just mine, only mine." And there's really nowhere in my living room it could fit. So
yeah,
it's in the bedroom. So it's in the boudoir.
Well, I'm sorry we went extra long, you guys.
We did extra long. It's okay. We had a lot to talk about. And I had a fantastic weekend. And obviously, I had a fantastic weekend. And I was just so glad to talk to everybody tonight.
I know. This was so fun. I'm so happy. So many extra people visited, like Sarah Lee. Hi, Sarah Lee. Thank you for coming. And who
And
else
Amy and
came?
Patrick. It's great to see
Angel.
everyone.
I don't know
So don't
but-
here, make yourself bigger too. Come back.
Okay.
Come back.
There was someone else, some new friends that I saw. I'm just happy. Wait, hold on. Oop. There.
So
I'm happy to see your wonderful faces. Thank you so much for coming. I love these Monday nights with all of you.
be sure to give Heather a thumbs up and subscribe to her if you don't already. Next week we will be on my channel, voa.quest1910, for the next installment of Brocante and Bergamot. We thank you so much for coming. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Love you guys. Have a great night. Bye.